in the form 12 economics chapter number 3, in the last frame was frame number 9. Now it is the 10th frame. So continuation with the topic of the privatization. In the last frame we have seen what was the status of the Indian enterprises, or especially with the public sector undertakings. Now in this frame number 10, we will see the main objectives of privatization. There were some objectives or some goals behind the adopting the policy of privatization. Number one, to improve the financial position of the government. The government has already incurred huge losses by investing in the public sector enterprises or public sector undertakings. In giving the profits, instead of giving the profits, they were giving the loss to the government. So government was to reduce these losses and want to improve its financial position. Second, to facilitate modernization to industrial setup for growth and development. There were very traditional approach and reluctancy to adopt the modern techniques and technology and methods by the public sector enterprises. So, by the privatization, it was expected to adopt the modernized techniques and technologies for the growth and development of the Indian economy. Third objective was to improve the performance of selected PSUs. See, it was not like that all the PSUs would be given in the private hands. There were some public sector undertakings from which we could expect good results, and they were basically the cash cows, and they were basically the star performers. So how to make them more efficient, how to give them some autonomy in the managerial decisions, in the control, and to reduce the political interference. So such type of private public sector undertakings have been given special status with the name of Maharatan, with the name of Navaratan and Mini Ratans. So to improve the performance of selected PSUs, selected means here the public sector undertakings which could do well and which could improve their performance and productivity and quality. So, to improve the performance of selected PSUs which had been given special status under Maharatans, Navaratans and Mini Ratans. Next, fourth, to increase the private partnership and to encourage entrepreneurship in India. See, as we have told in the last frame, that although we had the mixed economical structure, but in that mixed economic structure, the higher component or higher element of the socialist pattern means the means and resources for the production and decision making and control, they were much under the government control. So very less of private firms. So what was the need of the hour that time? To increase the private partnership, to give the industries into the private hands for better performance, and to encourage entrepreneurship in India. See, this entrepreneurship is very important word for the economics and managerial point of view. It has been taken from the enterprises. Then fifth, to raise the performance and productivity through efficiency and skills. If we are able to incorporate skills, good skills, and with the efficient working style, then naturally both the things will lead towards the more productivity and higher output. So to raise the performance and productivity through efficiency and skills. Sixth, to discourage monopoly and to introduce fair competition and market discipline. When many of the sectors there were only single industry, and that industry was also of the government sector, or we can say public sector. So it means very high or strict restrictions of entry and exit. So what was the need of our that time to reduce these restrictions and open this sector for the private firms also, so that there may be fair competition, especially in the price and output related decisions. So the monopoly needed to be discouraged. To discourage monopoly of PSUs and to introduce fair competition by allowing the private firms, by opening these sectors for the private firms, to introduce fair competition and market discipline. Point number seventh objective, to reduce the loss and misuse of national resources by SIC units and PSUs. This SIC units is very important word in the economic parlance. SIC units are the units which are taking a lot of capital resources, but in turn they are not producing or they are not giving the output as per the expectations. They are known as the SIC units. So these SIC units were incurring a lot of loss. So the seventh objective, to reduce the loss and misuse of national resources by SIC units and public sector undertakings. Then point number 8, to reduce fiscal deficit, external debt and other liabilities due to inefficient operations of loss-making PSUs. Whenever the loss is there and the government is putting lot of financial assets, lot of capital funds, but ultimately what was the result with this type of units? They were incurring loss and loss and loss. So it was putting the burden on the budget, and this fiscal deficit was one of the reason for increasing the tax on the layman, on the common man also. And it is not only the thing, to fulfill this deficit, the government had to take the loans, government had to borrow from the international financial institutions and foreign countries. So it was another one of the reason of the external debt. And there are other liabilities also. Why? Because our PSUs were inefficient in their operations and they were loss making. So this point number 8, to reduce fiscal deficit, external debt and other liabilities due to inefficient operations of loss making PSUs. To develop a positive and conducive environment to attract foreign direct investment from developed nations. See, the advanced countries and developed nations, when the people and the government of the foreign countries, they have extra or ample amount of funds, they are looking for best return on investment. Developed countries have already reached to that level that if they invest their money in the developing countries, then there will be more returns. So this FDI can be encouraged. And last but not least, it is very important that I have written with the blue pen, to implement the recommendations of International Monetary Fund IMF and World Bank, because these international financial institutions had granted huge amount of loans and financial aids to India to overcome the financial crisis and adverse balance of payment situations of India.